Hello folks, it's me again. I've come on to do a quick video response to Brian Cormack Carr's Tarot Tools Trio. I've been watching a few of the videos and I've watched his original video, and I thought that I would join in. As I said before, I'm at the early stage of my tarot journey, so my tarot resources are very limited, but I still have what would be classed as a tarot toolkit that I could use and I could take with me. So let's get started. Now, I don't have many decks yet. I do intend to expand the amount of decks that I have, but due to limited resources, I'll be very cautious as to when and how many of these decks that I will obtain, and basically I will have to make sure that, one, I can afford the deck, and two, that I believe that I can connect with the deck. So it won't just be a case of collecting because I want to collect, not at this stage anyway. It will be because there is a particular reason why I feel that I want or need this particular deck to expand my knowledge of tarot and to progress in my journey. So with that in mind, to choose the 3 decks in this tarot tools trio, I don't have much more than 3, so it's a pretty easy choice. The first one is the original Rider-Waite tarot deck. At least that's what it says on the box. I think I got this from W.H. Smith's one time. You've all seen the Rider-Waite. I would believe that these are the images with which I'm most familiar, as is most people. Even if they don't like them, they're familiar with them. I don't mind them. I particularly like them. I can work with them. I can learn with them. So that would be that's my birth card. That's why I'm showing that one. The Chariot. I always look at that when I look at a new deck. And that's the back. Perhaps Two Spirit Simon could confirm to me what particular Rider-Waite deck I've got. He's the one to ask, I think, about Rider-Waite Smith. Well, the one that I know of. So that's my first deck. Because it has familiar images, and most of the reference books that you can look at will refer to this deck, have images of this deck or similar images to this deck. So that's my first deck in my Tarot Tools trio. The second deck has got to be my latest purchase of a deck, which I did at the end of last month, ready to use this month, and I did an unboxing of this at the time, and that's the Legacy of the Divine Tarot by Tira Marchetti. I'm absolutely loving this deck. I've really connected with it, the images, and I'm getting a lot of inspiration and guidance from this deck, and it's lovely. It feels lovely to shuffle, and I know that we don't count the accompanying books in our book choices, but the accompanying book to this, Gateway to the Divine Tarot, is absolutely excellent. I'm getting a lot of fresh insight from that, and it's a good read. So that's my second deck. Now, my third deck, and I didn't know whether there were two choices for this, and it could be either one, so it's a bit of a cheat, really. The first option for my third deck would be the Gilded Tarot by Ciro Marchetti. Now, you can see that I've had this a while, the box is all battered, it's had its use, and up to now I've really enjoyed using this deck, but I haven't been using this deck recently because I've been using the Legacy of Divine Tarot by Ciro Marchetti. So perhaps I would leave this behind, I wouldn't count this in because I've already got my Ciro Marchetti deck. If I hadn't got that, this would definitely be in my choices, but seeing as I've got the Legacy deck, I probably would not count this in my trio. Now, the one that I would is one that I use every day, along with the Legacy of Divine Tarot, to do my daily draws, particularly, which I started to post on Instagram, by the way, and that's the Psychic Tarot. Now, I count this as an oracle deck because doesn't really follow a traditional tarot structure. It doesn't have 78 cards, it only has 65, and it has cards like the chakra cards that a normal tarot deck wouldn't have. But having said that, it's part of my daily kit, as it were, my tools that I use in my tarot practice. So I would have that with me, along with the two more traditional structured tarot decks that I've already shown you. So that is my third deck. So as you see, basically those decks are the decks that I have. So to narrow things down wasn't hard. Not like some that I've watched that I know they've probably got 50 to 100 or more decks that they have to pick from. So I've had an easier time on that. But I thought it's worth doing this particular challenge because I wanted to show that even a beginner with limited resources, with limited decks and etc., can still have a workable toolkit, a tarot toolkit to use and to develop with and have as a foundation to build on. So you don't need to have a lot of decks to choose from, just decks that work for you and that are part of your tarot practice and are useful to you. Now, at the moment in my journey, I only read for myself. I only use the tarot for personal development and personal guidance and to practice and to study. So I'm not choosing or using these decks to read for others at this moment. I obviously would like to in the future, and maybe I would have extra decks by then from which that I would feel more that I could use to read for others. But up until then, this is what I've got. So that's the decks taken care of. Now the matter of books. Now here's another thing. I have limited books. In fact, I don't actually have any physical books. I have ebooks. I do have a lot of other books not connected with tarot, and I've been trying to cut down on the amount of physical books that I have. I've started giving some books away to charities, etc., and I've stuck to ebooks for my general reading. And I do have some tarot books on as ebooks, and the first one is this one, you can see, and that is Tarot Plain and Simple by Anthony Louis, with illustrations by Robin Wood, and that the illustrations are of the Robin Wood tarot deck. So this is a very good book, particularly for a beginner. It is what it says. It's a guide to the tarot in plain and simple language that teaches you about the history of the tarot, the structure of the tarot, and meanings of the cards, and how to develop your understanding of the cards and the tarot system. And I found this book very, very useful, and I refer to it often, and therefore that would be in my toolkit. The second ebook that I've got is this one, and that is, if I can get it up, right, there you go, and that is, I can get it so that the light doesn't show, Tarot Spreads by Barbara Moore. And this is one that I've obtained fairly recently, towards sometime last year, and I wanted to get more into spreads and different spreads that are there, and this was recommended on a YouTube channel. I can't quite remember which one. It might have been Angelo Nasios's channel. I don't know. He recommended some books. Anyway, I saw it recommended. It looked good, and it is. And I've not used all the spreads on here, but I have used some of them and gained some. It also talks about how spreads are structured and about positions and how you can create your own spreads. I haven't gotten to that stage yet, but it's all there in this book, and I would therefore have this in my toolkit to refer to. The third book, also in ebook form, is this one that I've had on here for a while, and refer to from time to time, and this is The Only Tarot Book You'll Ever Need by Sky Alexander. And despite the title, it's not the only tarot book that you'll ever need, because I have others that I also think I need. So, but that again has a comprehensive look at the history and the meanings and the structure of the tarot, and gives you some useful tips and insights in that. I don't refer to that as much as the other two. The Tarot Plain and Simple is the one I use the most, and then Barbara Moore's Tarot Spreads is the next one that I use second most, and this is the least one that I use, but I do from time to time dip in, and it's a useful book to look at. So that is my third choice for the Tarot Trio book section, and now we come on to spreads. Now, as I say, I've got the Barbara Moore's Tarot Spreads book. I've also watched lots of YouTube videos which show various spreads, and the main ones I like are the ones with a small amount of cards. Everybody knows the Celtic Cross, but for me as a beginner on the journey, I feel it's a little bit cumbersome to get to grips with until you're more experienced with interpreting the cards in a spread. So that one I tend to leave alone. I have used it when I first started out, because you get that with a little white book that comes with your tarot deck, and it's the one that everybody seems to get suggested to use. But I don't see it as a beginner's spread, and so I've left it aside. But I like the 3-card spread, and the first one that I came across was the past, present, and future spread. But I don't tend to use that as much now, because my focus is not on doing the past, present, and the future, predicting the future, as it were. Because I use tarot now for more self-development and personal growth and general guidance, as it were, and not for predicting the future, because I'm not against that, and tarot can be used for that. But this divining the future, I think, is you have to be careful with that, because you can rely too much on that, as nothing is set in stone, in my view, that your present actions and the actions you take after a reading can influence whether the outcome shown in a reading is actually the one that comes about. The energies of readings change all the time, so the future can't be pinned down as an absolute. This is definitely is what's going to happen. So, but that 3-card spread can be adapted with different position labels. The first spread is this spread, where the first card represents the situation at hand. The second card represents what's hidden in the situation. What are you not seeing about what's going on here? And the third card represents any advice that the cards have for you in this situation. The second spread is one that I got from Two Spirit, from Simon. And the first card is this is one of the users for the week ahead spread, but it can be used for any period of time, or just a general spread. And I said the first card is opportunities that lie ahead. The second is any challenges in situations ahead that you may face, and the third card is the potential outcome, the what you could achieve, goals you could reach, or just the opportunity for growth that you might have. So just the potential in the situation in the coming time ahead, as a spread for the week ahead in the coming week. And the final spread is the element spread that I got from the Barbara Moore's Book of Tarot Spreads, and it's a 5-card spread, and at the center is the first card and represents the problem or the situation. The second card, which is above, and being above, represents air, the element of air, and is associated with the mental area of the situation, with thinking, of problem solving, and communicating. This card advises you about a possible rational approach to a problem. The third card is fire, and is associated with beliefs, passion, and will. This card advises you on how to apply this energy to solve the problem. And water is the element for the fourth card and is associated with emotions. This card will suggest how your emotions are affecting the situation. Are they repressed, or are they controlling you, or are they healthily engaged in the situation? And the final card, it represents the earth element and is associated with the physical world and manifestation. This card tells you what action to take in this situation. So those are the 3 spreads that I've chosen as part of my toolkit and plan to use in the coming days and weeks ahead, and I'll let you know how I get on with them. Finally, Brian asked us to choose a wild card for our toolkit, and this is going to be my journal. And this is an essential part of my toolkit, particularly as I'm learning. And it records the draws and readings that I do for myself. At the beginning of the year, I did the my year ahead spread for 2018. So I've got that there to refer to look back and see how, as the months progress, how that matches up with each of the cards I got for the year ahead. And there's my first daily draw of the year, and looking back at this, it's this is where the use of it comes in. I did my daily draw today, and it's again up on my new Instagram account, The Sound of an Ocean Wave. And the tarot card that I drew today was the Four of Pentacles. And this rang a bell. I thought I've had this before. And I'm looking through this journal in preparation for this video. I found that the first card of the year that I drew was indeed the Four of Pentacles. So this is obviously a reminder of what God was saying to me at the beginning of the year, and the need to balance finances and other material matters in my life. And the issue of balancing fitted with January's card in the year ahead spread, which was the Two of Pentacles for January. So far, what the cards have shown to me is bearing out in the experiences, or my experiences are bearing out what the cards have been showing me, whichever way you want to look at it. So there it is. So thank you, Brian, for coming with this this tarot tools trio challenge. I enjoyed doing it, and as I say, despite the fact that I'm limited in the amount of things that I have at my disposal, I did want to show that even a beginner with very limited tools can have an effective toolkit for their tarot journey. So it doesn't matter where you are, whether you've got 100 decks or 1 deck, you have what you need to move forward in your tarot journey and work with the tools that you have. So, and in doing this video and preparing for this video, I didn't realise what a good toolkit I did actually have, even in its basic form. So it's good for showing us that although we might feel that we haven't got much to offer, or we haven't got much to work with, when we actually look, we have enough. We have sufficient there, and it's a solid foundation on which to build, which fits in with the card of the Four of Pentacles, the Four of Coins that I drew today. So thank you for watching, and until my next video, all the best, and goodbye.